This story begins in a castle where everyone is sad and weeping next to the king, Inglis, who is seemingly at his deathbed. The king tries to assure his subjects that they should be happy and cheerful, as he doesn't wish to go on such a sad note. That's when he's greeted by the goddess Alastia. She thanks Inglis for all the hard work he's done till now, which includes defeating all kinds of evil demons and monsters. Alastia wants to reward her divine king for all his achievements, so Inglis says that he wants to be reborn in order to try an alternative life, where he becomes the master of the blade. The goddess immediately grants him this wish, and then a small eye opens to show a POV of Inglis being reborn as a baby. He's happy that Alastia gave him what he wanted, but then he gets the shock of his life when his new mom Serena says that their new baby is a girl. Inglis is clearly not happy with this development, but figures that he must carry on with his life in this body. Now we are told about the magical element Aether, which is basically used to boost powers that can help reach god-level powers. Inglis learns about the monster appearing in the town, and then Serena finds him floating in the air. She panics for a bit, but then Inglis tricks her with some excessive crying. Serena brings Inglis along as she meets her older sister Irina inside her mansion. Here we meet Raphael and Rahina, aka Ronnie, both of whom are Irina's kids. The group watches from the window and Inglis notices a giant dragon beast. He senses that this world is going to be filled with danger and gets excited over the prospect. However, he has no artifacts for now, so he starts crying out loud. Raphael expresses his disappointment over being unable to fight any monsters, despite having a rune which will help him master artifacts. This is a concept which didn't exist during Inglis's earlier life, so he wonders what else is new. Suddenly, the dragon shows up and attacks the mansion. Irina is knocked down, so Serena gives Inglis to Raphael and tells him to escape while he still can. Ronnie starts to cry while Serena fights the dragon with her impressive sword skills. Raphael joins her, but the dragon defeats both of them, so Inglis decides to save the day. He makes cute baby sounds and unleashes an ultimate Aether beam that defeats the dragon with just one blow. Raphael witnesses this, much to Inglis's surprise, but then he passes out. Inglis is happy that he's overpowered, but then he also falls on the floor because he's just a baby. Our hero wakes up to Serena and his dad, Luke, talking about monsters called prismers that are the ultimate demons. Years pass by and Inglis started to mature as a girl. Serena comments on his odd behavior, and then Irina arrives with Ronnie. She is amazed to see Inglis' refined language, but even Serena doesn't know her daughter is able to speak so well. Now, Inglis and Ronnie play with each other during training and watch Raphael in action, who's shown to be very skilled. The only knight stronger than him right now is Luke, so Inglis aims to duel with Raphael soon. A merchant named Lord Rambach shows up and says that he wants his son Rahl to spar with the knights. Raphael makes a polite introduction, but Rahl shows his true colors as he defeats all the knights with ease and taunts them for being weak. Inglis is intrigued by Rahl and realizes that he's actually using magic through mana. This is cheating because the people of this generation do not know how magic works, and it allows Rahl to win all his matches with ease without being called out for unfair strategies. The evil merchant boy takes down another knight, and the sword is about to fall on Ronnie, so Inglis saves her. Now Raphael decides to fight Rahl, so Inglis advises him to fight without looking at his opponent. He doesn't reveal that Rahl is using magic, but Raphael understands the assignment. He dominates the battle at first, but he gets too carried away, and this allows Rahl to take advantage and defeat him at the very last moment. Rahl ridicules Raphael for losing to him, so Inglis decides to challenge him to a duel. Rahl mocks him for even suggesting this, but he hints that he knows Rahl has been cheating all this time. This angers the merchant boy, so he accepts Inglis's challenge, but Luke asks his daughter not to do this. However, he threatens to spill the beans by telling Serena about Luke buying a new urn. So he lets him do as he wishes. Now the duel begins and Inglis is able to counter Rahl's magic with ease. He still decides not to use his ultimate powers and dominates the duel with his simple sword fighting moves. It doesn't take long for Inglis to defeat Rahl, and he is cheered on by everyone. Despite this, he says that he has a lot more room for improvement. Time passes by, and Inglis turns 6 years old, so he has to undergo a baptism in order to receive his rune. Along with them is Raphael, and also Ronnie, who achieves a high-class rune, much to her pleasant surprise. Now it's Inglis's turn to see a symbol, but he doesn't want a special class rune, because Serena doesn't want her daughter to lead a life dedicated towards helping others. Inglis knows that he's already lived his life this way, so he won't let history repeat itself. Basically, he makes sure to manipulate the mana using his Aether powers. The results show that Inglis has no symbol, so the others lament that he can never become a knight. However, our hero turns it around by saying he will serve as Ronnie's attendant. More time passes by, and a Prismer monster known as the King of Rainbow makes his way through the pouring rain. We can see that Inglis is now a teenage girl along with Ronnie. He wants to fight the rainbow monster, but Ronnie tells him that he must have some heavenly blessings if he likes to be so violent with our rune. The rain clears out, and then the girl notices the floating town called Highland, which offers artifacts to other countries for protection against the Prismer monsters. Now Ronnie tells Inglis that she wants him to have the perfect boyfriend and believes that Raphael will be the best match. However, Inglis is still a man in a woman's body, so the thought of being with a boy is terrifying. At night, Inglis gets ready for a party and looks very pretty. Ronnie compliments him, and then she mentions a Highlander coming to the party as well. This makes Inglis a little suspicious because he thinks that the Highlanders want to control the kingdom. The girls prove to be the stars of the show, but all the men stare at Inglis and it makes him uncomfortable. Now Luke introduces the girls to Leon, who is a holy knight accompanying Raphael. Then we meet Inspector Lord Shioni and the Highland ambassador, who is revealed to be Rahl. This makes Inglis even more suspicious because Rahl reveals he had to bribe the upper Highlanders in order to get the status. The tension grows thicker between Inglis and Rahl, so Leon causes a distraction and takes the girls away, saying he'll show them an ultimate artifact. Leon reveals that Highlanders look down upon the knights, and he has to butter them up all the time. This upsets Ronnie, but Leon reassures her that he was just joking. Now the trio meets Eris, who is revealed to be a Hyrule menace. Leon tries to make an introduction, but Eris slaps him and walks away. Suddenly the trio hears distant screaming and rushes to the scene. They see that Shioni has been deep-fried by Rahl simply because he tried to stop the evil ambassador from harassing a woman knight. Inglis learns that Rahl summoned fire to fry Shioni and figures that he's using magic once again without the others knowing about it. Rahl continues to act like a villain, and it annoys Luke, but then Inglis offers himself to Rahl, making a promise not to lay a hand on any of the other women. He gleefully agrees to the deal and tells Inglis to meet him at his villa in the night. On his way to meet Rahl, Inglis meets Eris, who tells him to run away because she doesn't want the evil ambassador to harm an innocent girl. Inglis senses an opportunity for some battle practice, so he taunts Eris and gets into a fight with her. Inglis is able to handle her attacks with ease, but then Eris puts her foot on the accelerator and turns up the heat. She eventually lands a scratch on Inglis and apologizes for it, but our hero is happy to finally have found a worthy opponent. He wants to know if Eris can sense mana, and she awkwardly says yes. That's when Inglis shows off his Aether converted into an insane amount of mana. Eris is amazed by this, so she figures that Inglis can protect himself from Rahl. But this makes our hero upset, because now he can't fight Eris anymore. Suddenly a lightning blast attacks Eris and smashes her against a tree. To Inglis' surprise, the culprit is shown to be Leon, who is wearing lightning armor. His gloves are revealed to be his artifacts, and then the Holy Knight explains that he isn't actually with the Highlanders, but wants to come up with an alternative solution. He goes on to mention the Steel Blood Front, which is an anti-Highlander organization. Leon is hopeful that the Steel Blood Front will steal the Highlanders' technology and use it against them. He wants to recruit the girls as well, but Eris says no, and Inglis only refuses Leon so that he can fight him. Leon accepts the challenge and awakens his lightning lines to attack Inglis. Eris joins in on the battle and holds off Leon because she doesn't want him to harm the princess. Our hero decides to show off his powers and blast a thunder lion away. He unleashes an Aether shell and engages in a furious battle against the other thunder lions, much to Eris' surprise. However, Leon points out that the princess doesn't have enough endurance to sustain this move. That's when Ronnie suddenly shows up, being chased by an overpowered Prismer monster. Inglis immediately shifts his attention to the monster and smacks it away. Our hero learns that Ronnie actually snuck into Rahl's villa to attack him, but he transformed into the monster. Then Leon explains that he gave Rahl some prison powder to awaken the beast inside him. The Holy Knight makes an escape and Rahl goes crazy, so Inglis realizes he needs to use a finisher move on the monster. However, Luke and the others show up, so our hero can't expose his true powers just yet. He makes Eris join him as they kick Rahl away from the scene, but this is just a trick for our hero to get some privacy with the monster. Now Inglis decides to use his Aether Strike and finish Rahl with one brutal blow. Eris and Ronnie are amazed by this power, but Inglis faints due to his female body, not having enough endurance. The next day, Inglis makes Eris promise not to tell anyone that he was the one who killed Rahl. Time passes by and the girls turn 15. after which they go to visit the royal capital. Luke bids an emotional farewell to the girls, but also tells Inglis to prevent Ronnie from making any shady boyfriends. The girls reach the Highland and Inglis shows off his manly hunger, but this leads to a shortage of funds. The restaurant owner suggests that the girls take up jobs as mercenaries in order to support their expenses. They do well in their practical tests and get summoned to the royal castle to become knights. Now, the girls take a bath together, but Inglis feels like Highland is sneakily trying to drain mana from him. Ronnie wants to scrub his back, so things get a little freaky. That's when they meet Cyrene, who is a Highlander landlord. The girls apologize for being shady in the bath, but Cyrene shows that she's a nice person, as she also takes care of orphans. She asks the girls to help her out with some rogue knights who've been terrorizing the city. Our heroes agree and go to confront the rogue knights led by Hawker. Ronnie is about to finish things off with one simple blow, but then a mysterious assassin blocks her magic. Inglis identifies her to be a Hyrule menace, just like Eris, and gets excited over the prospect of fighting a worthy opponent. And that's the end of part 1. Like, share, and subscribe for part 2. See you soon!